Hey, it's Aaron Redknapp here. You're listening to a proper podcast. It's the Alan Hudson podcast. It's proper football, proper talk.
Well, hello again. Thanks for joining us on the Alan Hudson podcast. It's great to have you along. We've got another terrific guest lined up for us today. It's not Lucy Halsey, as it says on the bottom of his screen. It's the former Premier League referee and former FIFA referee, Mark Halsey. But before we introduce him, Alan's got a few words to say about subscriptions, as usual. So off you go, Alan.
Yeah, if you haven't subscribed, please go into YouTube, look us up and put us down as a member or whatever it is that Tony wants me to say, and join the club. And then you get to see what guests we got today. Because today, about a month ago, we had the first woman on, which was George Best's wife, Angie. And today we got our first referee on. So it's a first. Welcome, Mark.
Yeah, morning, guys. That was quite polite for you, Alan.
Well, I never to tell you the truth. I was thinking to myself this morning, thinking about the chat's going to be about, and I only ever got sent off once in my life, and I think I was looking to get sent off. I was played up in Sunderland. I played for Stoke, and we were no good. We had a bad team. This was in the 80s, my second spell, and I played in midfield with a fella called Alan Dodd, and I said, "Come on, let's get onto the referee," and we did. And I played against two of our old players in Seattle, Stan Cummins and Sean Elliott, the centre half. And I was messing about with them, and every time we went near each other, we brought each other down. It was a comedy, really. You
wanted Christmas off.
Well, that was Dennis Law, that was. But yeah, and I got a letter from an old Sunderland supporter. He said, "If you want me to come and speak for you," he said, "that's all." But he didn't know what I was calling the referee.
I use worse than you, pal.
Well, have you got? Are you just about? I don't want to interrupt you, Al. Carry on if you got.
No, before we go any further, I've got to tell the story, and I think it's interesting for referees. And now, however good you are, whatever. I remember my first season at Chelsea '69, and Wednesday night, I never forget. Remember the great Jim Finney?
Well, that's going back.
Well, 69, but I think it was the end of his career. But there was two referees. One was Jim Finney. He was supposed to be the best in the world at the time, and I swore at him. I said something to him, and he said to me, he said, "You're not playing too well yourself." He said, "You want to worry about you?" He said, "You want to worry about your own game." And he mugged me off. Yeah, and I thought it was a great way of doing it right, you know.
Yeah. Well, 69. I think I was just getting into football then. I was like 9 years of age. Obviously, all my family come from East Acton, West London. Right. And obviously, I was brought up a QPR fan and still am a QPR fan. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, massive QPR. My uncle lived in Loftus Road, so he lived right next door to the ground. We used to come out of his house, turn left again. I was in the loft.
Lovely, because my mates just took over the coaching job there. Stevie Bold.
Oh, Steve Bold, yeah. I watched the game on Saturday against Preston. It was a poor game.
Have you ever seen a good game? I haven't seen a good game at QBR since.
Back in the day, mate. I saw many a good game down there, mate. Don't go down that path just because you're in
I was an half Rangers supporter when Marsh first went there, and that's when it all ended with me and him. But that was the year that they won the League Cup, and I'd watched them. I saw every game.
67, Wembley. Yeah. I've been to Wembley twice to watch QPR. Once in the FA Cup, get Tottenham. Was it 81? I think it was. 1-1, and then we lost 1-0 in the replay. And then I went to watch us in the old Milk Cup against Oxford United. And we got absolutely tonked by I think it was Jim Smith's team then.
Yeah.
So,
the QPR Tottenham game was that the Tony Curry penalty.
Yeah, was it a penalty we got? I
think he gave a penalty away.
Yeah, I think was it handball.
He never talks about it, but he did.
No, I remember one.
It was a Tony Curry gave a foul away in the box, and Glenn Hoddle scored the penalty.
That's it. Yeah. That's that. We lost 1-0 in the replay.
That's right.
So
can we just go back to how it all started for you, the referee? I mean, you were played a decent standard of football, Mark. You were a semi-pro goalkeeper. When did you first have visions of going into refereeing?
Well, yeah. Listen, I'm a football fan. Love football. I remember playing. We never started playing football till you was in your last year. I think it was year 6 of primary school. When you were then moving up to the next year into senior school. So I started playing year 6. That's when we were allowed to play back in the day. And I started off. I played my first game in centre midfield, and I didn't have the best of games. And then my school teacher put me in goal, and that's where I stayed. I was at Tottenham for 3 years as a schoolboy. So I really enjoyed it there. But obviously, as you get to, I think I was 12 when I went there. Then obviously 15, 16, you start finding other things, don't you? I wasn't dedicated enough at that age, and if I had my time again, it would be totally different. But listen, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? And then I sort of moved on to Hertford Town, St Albans, Cambridge City, Welling Garden City. Played the odd game for Barnet when they were struggling, and then obviously I got to
was that Barry Fry, Mark?
Barry Fry was in charge then. Alan, he was a boy. He was, good school friend of mine played there, and he got me there. But I finished up playing at Welling Garden City. That was my team. But I also loved my cricket. And a good friend of mine who I played Sunday mornings back in the day. I mean, I always remember going up to my grandparents. You know, remember the Wormwood Scrubs, about 150 games going on Wormwood Scrubs every Sunday morning. Well, I just stepped out of their house onto the Wormwood Scrubs, and I'm watching all the games. So, so I played Sunday mornings for a good friend of mine. He was a Chelsea fan, by the way, and he became a referee. So he played centre half, and he was one of the most dirtiest players I ever come across. You know, one referee's back, and he would give the old centre forward a right hammer in, a good punch or an elbow.
Perfect referee if he was a dirty.
Yeah, but then he gave up, become a referee.
Yeah.
So he lived on where we play cricket in Welling Garden City, and his house backed onto our cricket field. And this summer I had a couple of injuries, and I was falling out of love with the game. And he kept on at me, "Why, Mark, why don't you come and referee? Why don't you come and referee?" I went, "Russ, you can stick that up where the sun don't shine. I'm not interested." And then he kept on at me all summer. So I just thought, you know what? I said to him, if I can take the exam without doing the 8-week course, we'll see how I get on. And then we'll go from there. And he got permission for me to do the exam. I've done the exam, and I never looked back really. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't realise back in then that I would go as far as I did, and I could travel, and I saw the world as a referee. So
you were refereeing when they had the big change. Because in our day, the referees always had an excuse that they were amateurs in a professional game, and everyone would say they can't keep up with the pros and then you become professional referees.
Yeah, that's right. When I started back in 88, 89, as a 28-year-old referee, just out of football. I was still playing, and I was refereeing at the same time. But there come a stage where I had to, I was sort of refereeing. I helped my team out midweek games when they were struggling, and I would referee at the weekends. So there come a stage where I had to say, right, am I going to be a referee, or am I going to, carry on playing football? So I took the decision just to quit playing, but I still train with my local team every Tuesday and Thursday. So obviously I went through into the Welling Hatfield Sunday League, the Hearts County League. That's where I came through. Progressed, and then by 1996 I was a Football League referee, middle of the Football League. I became a referee. Obviously I was an assistant first, and then obviously I spent a season on the line as an assistant referee on the Premier League. Then I got promoted into the Football League as a referee. And then obviously 1999, 2000, I got promoted into the Premier League, and then that's when we become professional under Philip Don.
When you were playing and refereeing, would you argue with a referee?
No, I was always good to referees. I think I got cautioned a couple of times in all my years, but I used to like a laugh and a joke with the referees. I always got on well with the refs. But when I had to be careful, because if I got sent off or cautioned, obviously I would get a letter from the Hearts FA to warning me of my conduct, because obviously I'm a referee. And if you got sent off, that means you were suspended from playing football and suspended from refereeing as well.
Yeah.
So go back to your very first Premier League game, Wimbledon against Coventry in 1999. What are your memories of leading up to that game and the game itself?
Oh, bloody hell! Very nervous. I was always nervous before I played. But listen, I refereed every game in the Football League. No matter what level you referee, every game's a big game for me. You treat every game as it's a cup final. And obviously, I refereed my first ever final at Wembley with Gillingham and Manchester City in the player final at Wembley. It was a massive game. So then the following season, I start the opening Premier League game with at Wimbledon, Coventry. I mean, listen, very nervous. The assessor was a lovely chap called Roy Capey. As I was coming through the system, he gave me a right hammer in one of my assessments. And then obviously obviously Graham Poll was my fourth official, and that can become very nerve-wracking, because obviously the stature he had as a referee at the time. So yeah, listen, it was 1-1. Game went well. I think I awarded a penalty to Coventry in that game, and thoroughly enjoyed it.
Was Plough Lane packed out then?
Yeah, it was absolutely. It was at Selhurst Park.
Oh, was it?
It was Selhurst Park. And that's when they played there. But very nervous. But back in the day, in those days, you either sank or swim. Not like it is today. But luckily, I mean, Jose Mourinho always described me as a players referee, the 23rd player on the pitch. And he was right, because I was a players referee. That's how I like, when I played football. That's how I like referees to be, and that's how I with my career. I always gave players a chance. Always gave them a chance. And I think you know it's so important. I mean, I think today you see the referees. Their arrogance about them. You know, they don't talk. They don't talk with the players. They don't laugh. They don't smile with the players. It's just yellow card comes out for everything these days.
Well, we used to call them policemen. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, for me, it's not always about the laws of the game. It's about knowing the game. It's about knowing the game of football. It's about understanding players' frustrations and emotions, and managers' frustrations and emotions on the sideline. I just don't think I think we've lost the art of how to manage men. Yeah. You know, because on that pitch is a shop floor, and I used language. Shop floor language, just like anyone of the players do, because that you're on the shop floor. That's football. Yeah. I trained 12 years with Bolton Wanderers full time. So I've got to know what players, what they're like on the training pitch. It's exactly the same on the training pitch as what they are on a match day. And I was a great believer in that. You walked onto the field of play, you couldn't command that respect straight away. Some referees do. That respect comes with your decision making, the accuracy in your decision making, and how you treat the players.
Yeah.
And you've got to have that awareness about what's going on. You've got to have that little. You've got to pick up that little 9 and 5 situation where the 9 has a little kick at the 5, and the 5 will give him a little dig in the chest. You've got to be aware of that. You've got to see that, and you just go run past them. Hey, you do that again, and I'll have you. Just things like.
Well, you're saying actually the way it is on a percentage wise, I wouldn't know. I could get shot down here, but it's almost as if most referees would never know how to play the game, or in certain situations, if you played the game, then you would know. That's how it is.
I used to know what was going on around me. I had that awareness with what was going on around me, even though sometimes I didn't see it. You just knew. And that's when you just have that little look back. You got that time just to the ball's been cleared. You just have that little bit of gaze vision to say, hey, you two, pack it up. I've seen that. Get on with it. you know, but in a shop floor tone, so that the players would understand that and respect that sort of the way you spoke to them.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, Mark, is it really down to mutual respect?
Absolutely. If the players ain't got respect for you, that's it. You've lost them. You've got to get the players on board. And the way you get the players on board with you is your accuracy in your decision making, and you're picking up little things. You're picking up all the little niggles. The niggles go on. You know, if you don't set your tolerance level straight away, you're going to have 6, 7, 8, 9 bookings and a couple of red cards sending off. Yeah. But if you set your tolerance level that little bit higher, players will give you that respect. You know, if there's a challenge that goes in, is it's bordering on careless or reckless, because careless is a free kick, nothing else. Reckless is a free kick and a yellow card. You know, that's when I say just give the players that chance. If there's one that's just bordering, give them that chance. Say, hey, do that again, and I'll caution you.
Yeah. Well, that's.
Yeah, well, I've gone running past. You know, I've been in games when players are, you know, chasing after players, and I'm thinking he's bringing him down here. He's got to bring him down. He's bringing him down here, and he's brought him down. And I've given you a card. Listen, look, I know. You've got to do what you got to do. I've got no problem with that. But it's a yellow card. And players know, okay, Mark, thanks very much. I'll take that.
Well, I mean, there's a big Chelsea influence on this podcast, of course. I've got to ask
only one way.
Don't say yours.
Yours.
But I've got to ask you about how would you have dealt with that infamous 1970 FA Cup final?
Oh, what a final that was, wasn't it? Eh? That replay up at Ellen Road, was it at Ellen Road, wasn't it?
Old Trafford.
Old Trafford. Sorry, Old Trafford. Yeah, sorry, Old Trafford. It wouldn't be at Ellen Road, would it? What a replay that was, wasn't it? Them challenges that went in, they were the good old days. You mention some of them players playing in today's game, they'd be spending most of the season suspended, wouldn't they? But what a game! I mean, that was football. I mean, listen, there were some challenges, but that's passion, isn't it? That was some game. It finished Chelsea 1-2-1, didn't they? Did they win?
They did, yeah.
Yeah, did, yeah. Then that's when you got blue is the colour, football is the game. Go on, Alan, carry on, son.
Well, unfortunately, Alan missed that game. He played in every single game, and then got an ankle injury just before the final. Missed out on the final.
Was you when you started? Was you the referees? Because I became second time around at Stoke. The referees used to come into the dressing room before the game and have a chat.
No.
Should still. I think that should still be done.
No, I'm not so sure. I mean, like, the captains come in now with the team sheets with the manager, and they don't want to be in there. You know, you start saying, right, don't do this, don't do that, don't you doing this, don't you doing that, do this, do it, and so you go out there first couple of minutes, you don't do what you say.
Yeah.
And then the players are on your back. Today, referees never go into the players' dressing room. I
thought it was a good thing, but although the referees didn't do this the way I really think when there's too much today. The problem with the refereeing today is, years ago, Arsenal used to do it a lot. They were known for it. Leeds were known for it. Was getting on top of the referee. If every single time there was a decision, bang. Well, I think if you go in the dressing room before the game, you say any of that, keep away from me. Especially now you've got the technology, and you see them on telly, don't you?
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's like VAR. There's nothing wrong with VAR. It's the personnel that's using it now. I mean, I used to be fourth official to some referees, and they used to go on and on and on and on. You know, the spiel used to be about 5 or 6 minutes to the captains, and I'm looking at the captains, and they're going, "What's he going on? We don't want to be in here." I just used to say, "Come on, guys, enjoy the game. You know what I'm about. Get out there and enjoy it." And that's all I used to say. Any questions? They say, "No, Mark, that's good enough for us," and out they go. But some referees go on and on and on. I remember John Terry always used to come into my dressing room as obviously with the captain. I used to go bang. I used to smack him around the face, and he used to say, "Why do you always smack me around the face in the dressing room?" I said, "Because I can't bloody do it out there."
You mentioned Jose Mourinho earlier, and I know
Yeah.
you've had quite a bond with him, didn't you, over the years? Tell us.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I mean, listen, he used to have a go at me a few times in games. And I ain't got a problem with that. But when I used to be there, I used to come in, go in his office, have a chat, have a coffee with him, same as I did with Sir Alex and David Moyes at Everton. I used to go in with a few of the managers and have a chat with them after games. No, for me, there's nothing wrong with that. Once Mark Halsey crossed that white line, I refereed the game how it should be refereed. I let things go. I used to like letting the game flow. I didn't like blowing up for stupid free kicks and stupid yellow cards and whatever. Yeah, I made mistakes. Of course, I made mistakes. I'm human. But I didn't think for me. I didn't see anything wrong with that. I mean, I made some good friends. I had a good friend of Jimmy Martin, the Everton kit manager who recently retired. Because you go into all these stadiums and you're seeing the same faces all the time. So you're gonna get a little rapport with them. Sometimes you used to speak to the kit manager, used to phone us up and say, "Oh, we're wearing this kit today. What do you think about this? What do you think about that?" Yeah, it's not a problem. Yeah, I've got no problem with them colours. So, listen, we're a football family, and we've got to just be careful that referees don't detach themselves from the game. We're all part of the football family. Yeah. People are going to disagree with your decisions. You're going to make unpopular decisions, but that's the game. That's the game. You can't please everybody.
Was you, when you managed QPR, when you refereed QPR, did you ever go the other way of it or not?
No, not at all. Listen, look. I mean, I refereed QPR twice, obviously, because I used to live in Wellington City, quite a way. People they knew I was a QPR fan, but back in 1997, 98, it wasn't really a problem. It wasn't until we become professional, and I wasn't a season ticket holder there either. So if I was a season ticket holder, I'd have had to declare that, but I wasn't. I just went and paid, and obviously went up. Well, so I couldn't get there a lot because I was refereeing and playing. So I remember QPR playing Portsmouth at Losters Road. QPR won 1-0. When we scored, I was actually jumping on the goal score. Oh, well, you better not. But no, we won 1-0, and then obviously again we played Huddersfield in the FA Cup third round, and QPR lost 1-0 to Huddersfield in the cup. So I refereed there twice, and after that was it. Once we become professional, I said, well, that's when I said, listen, I'm my own QPR fan. Don't go, because it caused more problems once we become professional. And all these bets, all the betting companies come into football then, didn't they? At the end of back in, I think about 2000, when all these bets were going on and everyone was placing bets and on all sorts of things, weren't they? How many corners, how many throws, how many free kicks, and who's going to get a yellow card, who's not going to get a yellow card, and so it was easier. I mean, I've run the line once in the Premier League there as well. Nothing's a couple of times I might have done it, but once, as I said, once I cross that white line, I'm a referee. Don't matter who I support.
Yeah. Well, it would have been a different rule in those days, though, wouldn't it, Mark? I mean, did you have to declare the team that you supported?
I mean, they did know. I mean, obviously, but as I said before, I wasn't a season ticket holder. If I was a season ticket holder, then I would have just said, there's no way I would have been refereeing. But but normally, what happens is if you live in that town or city, you don't referee that team. So that's when I moved up. Obviously, when I became professional, I moved up to Bolton, and obviously living in Bolton, I would never referee Bolton Wanderers in the Premier League. So that's why I went in there and trained with them.
And how much did your day-to-day life change when it?
Massively, because I mean, when I was coming through the system, it was hard to get time off. So I was a manager of a packaging firm, and in the old days, the old combination. If you remember the football combination, they used to play afternoon games, didn't they? They used to play in the afternoons and early evenings, and it become very, very difficult to get time off to do these games, because if you wanted to progress, you had to do these games. And so I quit my job and become a cab driver. So I was my own boss, so I could do what I want when I want, leave, finish work, start work. Didn't have to go in that day if I didn't want to, so I could concentrate on becoming a referee. Because when you referee midweek, if you were working, you say you were at Anfield, or you were refereeing up at wherever up north, you'd have to have the afternoon off work, then you'd have to travel up there. Then you wouldn't get back to the early hours of the morning. And then I was up at 5, ready to go back to go to work again. So that enabled me to concentrate fully on refereeing.
Like we did as players, you know, everyone had a hero or whatever and tried to emulate them. Are you, before you become a referee, knowing you were going to become a referee, did you watch certain referees the way they were?
Nah, it didn't interest me at all, Alan. No. Well, I didn't copy anybody. I was my own man. I mean, I used to, I'm a football fan really, and at QPR Bill Parks was my idol when he played at QPR, and Stan Bowles and Rodney Marsh as well. I mean, Stan Bowles used to love watching Stanley and Don Givens. What an era that was when QPR, you know, had some great players.
One referee years ago when it was a out and out Manchester. I think I was up in Stoke, and it was renowned for being a Manchester United supporter. And every time he refereed, everyone would scream, you know, that he was biased and everything else.
But it's impossible really, because you've got in them days we had an assessor in the stand who would be there watching you all the time. You know, it's always like, it was like you got, like say, his football's on there 24/7. You've got delegates there, you've got assessors there, or you do assessor by video as they do in the Premier League. So yeah, you wouldn't get away with anything. So
tell us a bit about how it works with a relationship with the assessor. I mean, can you form a relationship with the assessors, or do they have to stay aloof from the referees doing the job?
No, they you meet them before they're in the dressing room before the game with the team sheets, and they come in and you talk about your performance after the game. And some of them, I just wanted to kick them out of my dressing room straight away.
Well,
they were on a different planet to what I was refereeing.
So you'd have come across. We've had Kenny on, and he played with me in Seattle. He was a good player. Was Kenny Hibbert?
Oh, Kenny, yeah, Kenny's a good lad. He was a delegate for the Premier League for many years.
Yeah.
Great lad, Kenny. Great lad.
But did he do that job with you? Did he come?
Yes, he assessed me many times, because he was doing it for, you know, obviously what a delegate's role is to assess our performance on behalf of the Premier League and the Premier League clubs. So they would come in and talk about what they thought about our performance. And it was about key match decision making, man management, and fitness. And then obviously they would get the managers' comments about our performance, because the managers then feed back what they think about our performance to the delegate. That goes on the sheet, and it used to come to us. But Kenny was a referee's man. It was a shame because they finally moved him on, which I thought was a bit unfair. But Kenny was a great lad, great person.
Yeah, great lad.
Yeah, if you speak to him, give him my regards.
I will. We'll have him on again. He came to Seattle from Wolves, and he was a different boy. You know, he was.
Yeah.
I played against him a few times. I think I even played with him in the under-23s.
He would have kicked you a few times then, wouldn't he?
No, he couldn't get near me, Mark.
I didn't realise you was that quick, Alan. You were just skillful.
I weren't that quick. I was
No,
up
you
here,
wasn't.
Mark.
I knew you weren't quick, because I remember you.
Down there for dancing, mate. But he got to Seattle, and he become a hero over there. He was everything he went up. He never looked anything the player. Probably because there was people like Dugan there, John Richards. You know, they all took the limelight. These players, as like playing at Chelsea with Osgood and Cook and all that, they had limelight. But Kenny was like a real good footballer. But when he got to Seattle, and I remember him first coming, and because we already had Steve Daly there, his mate.
Oh, Steve Daly, yeah, remember Steve Daly, Wolves, yeah.
But Kenny come in, and he just fitted in like he'd been there all his life. And good footballers can do that. You know, when these referees say give him time to settle, well, that's rubbish. You know, it's like you as a referee. If you can referee, you say, I don't need no time around. Refereeing is natural. Yeah. Comes natural to me.
Yeah, remind me of my good friend Gary Owen. Do you remember Gary Owen?
Yeah, we've had him on, Gary.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, Gary. We could go back a while. Yeah, I go to the City games now and again with him. So he was good. He was good. Remind me of Kenny. You know.
We'll have to get you both on. We've had Gary on as a guest on the podcast. We'll have to get
Gary's good. Kenny's good players. Good player. Don't make them. I tell you what. I always think now. I look at the players today, and I think you look at you guys. That all these guys today are not a patch on you guys. Nowhere near.
Well, I think the thing with that, mate, is the situation with money.
Yeah, agents and money.
You know, we don't. People don't look at players today for how good they are, whatever they are.
Well, you just imagine if you were today, today's playing today, Alan, what you would command, for what.
Well, I don't.
Today,
Funny you say that, Mark, because I was saying to my mate in the pub the other day. I said, look. Don't talk silly, If George Best played today, he would be unviable in this country. You could.
If you got the pros today, back in your day, they would never make professional players.
Yeah, amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But I don't really think. I might be totally wrong, but I don't think referees today are that much better than what they were when we were playing.
Listen, refereeing is not a science; it's an art.
Yeah,
and it's no different. Yeah, listen, the laws may have changed and the game may be a bit quicker, but it's no different to refereeing 100 years ago, managing the game, managing the players, managing an event. No different. I would most probably say it's most probably a lot harder back in the day with some of the challenges that went in. I mean, I remember watching some games going back to the late 60s, early 70s, and even 80s. Look at some of them football pitches you played on.
Yeah.
Look at what they're playing on. They play on carpets now.
Yeah, I mean, that aside, it's like I remember when they changed the pass back law. I remember saying, look. Everybody has a go at referees, players in general, people in pubs, whatever. That's a talking point. And the FA are to blame because the game was hard enough to referee without bringing new rules into it. Well, there's nothing wrong with the game. There was nothing, you see now the goal kicks where goalkeepers are passing it in their own box to their player and 5 yards away and all that. Why did they? That's just complicating.
Well, I don't know. I think that does make the game a bit quicker because then they can get the game back into play. I mean, I thought, to be fair, Alan, I thought the pass back law that came in was a good one because all you used to get was the ball played out to the fullback, he'd pass it back to the keeper, and he'd just pick it back up again. So I thought that was good for the game. The pass back law was good for the game, and I think the one they brought in this season where the goalkeeper can't hold on to it for longer than 8 seconds.
Yeah.
Because you see, what really, got up my goat was that goalkeepers would catch the ball, bring it into their chest, and then fall to the ground.
Yeah.
And waste another 15, 20 seconds where they can't do that anymore. So I think that, and obviously the goal kick law, I think to make the game better, to make it quicker, to keep the ball in play longer, I think is good for the game. I really do.
Yeah.
The only thing is, offsides. No one knows what offsides are anymore, do they?
Well, that's the most ridiculous rule of all time. Not waving the flag straight away.
And this handball law that they brought in. Oh, unbelievable!
I can't believe that, Mark. The referees. You think referees would? Players would. Referees should get together and speak to the FA and say, "Look, this has got to change." This is.
Yeah, it's not the FA, and it's the IFAB. Who bring the laws into the game, who interpret, change the law, or they think they can make it better. It's the IFAB that change the laws. So every federation around the world has to follow what the IFAB bring in. So the FA are at the hands of the IFAB.
Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, that I didn't understand. I didn't realise that. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
You stop effing and jeffing at the FA now, mate.
No, I mean the FA. For me, they're the ones that make all the ricks, and you got to take the brunt of it, because you're the one.
Yeah, well, it's not the FA because they don't. The Premier League run the referees in the Premier League. It's the PGMOL that run the referees in the Premier League and in all the referees as a whole. So the PGMOL run all the referees in the Premier League and the Football League. So it's their interpretations. They tell their referees what they want. I personally, I think their leadership and direction is all wrong. I think their training education is all wrong, and I think some of the people they've got coaching them are not fit for purpose. And I think that's why we're seeing in different performances. Well, that's why we've been seeing in different performances over the last 10 years. I think. I'm hoping that how we'll ever get it all sorted, but it remains to be seen. The jury's still out for me.
Yeah. Do you think it's strange that ex-players don't go on to become referees?
Yeah, listen, I've been shouting for this for many years. If you look, I mean, ex-Premier League players and Championship players are not going to become referees, are they? Because let's face it, they're multi-millionaires. They're multi-millionaires, aren't they? You could be a squad player, not get a first team game and be a multi-millionaire.
Well,
so
absolutely.
They are not going to become referees. Absolutely no chance. Now you look at League One, League Two, perhaps the National League, because where that's their full time. And to be fair, professional referees earn more than these guys. They will earn a lot more than these guys. No doubt.
Yeah.
And they're the guys that, and I know there is a trial going on now where there's 12 ex players that are going to hopefully become referees. Now, I was one of these people many years ago saying that when cricket players retire, they become umpires. Okay. And when they become umpires, they apply their trade in second 11 cricket. Now, and then they move up into first class cricket. Now, when I stopped playing, I started off a Sunday morning on the park Sunday morning. Now, if we get these ex-players into refereeing, but what they should be doing is then, okay, they pass their exam, then they should start applying their trade in the National League. So they're straight up into the National League, and then they're good enough, then they get into League One and League Two, then up into the Championship, into the Premier League. They shouldn't have to start right down at level 7, right down at grassroots, right down on Sunday mornings. These guys have been playing at the top of their game, the professional footballers for what, most probably 10, 12, 15 years. So if they pass out, they go straight into the National League and they start refereeing there. Just like professional cricketers, when they become umpires, they start in the second 11 of professional cricket and then move up into the county cricket.
Yeah. Who'd want to be an umpire?
Oh, it's not a bad job now, is it?
I was standing there for 8 hours.
Yeah, but then you've got the DRS system, haven't you? So you've got you've got the old video assistant referee now, or umpire in the stand. So you ain't got to look for no balls. You ain't got to call no balls. They do that. They'll run out. As soon as they run out, you just do that, and then you pass it upstairs. It's easy.
Can I just ask you, Mark? I mean, we all know referees are on a hiding to nothing. You please some of the people some of the time, but you're never going to please all the people all the time. Did you ever get a game where you copped flack from the fans, you copped flack from the players, and you got back in your changing room after the game, and you think, God blimey, why do I do this?
No, listen, I love football. I enjoyed refereeing. I think I weren't a bad referee. I mean, if I weren't that good, I wouldn't have survived from 1996 all the way to 2014. So I must have had something about me. Yeah, listen, I made mistakes. There's games where I come off thinking, yeah, listen, I've made a mistake, but I'm human. But if I look over my career, I've given penalties when I shouldn't have done, or I haven't given a penalty when I shouldn't have done, or I've missed a red card when I shouldn't. I should have seen it, or I should have. If I'd seen it, I would have done it. Issued a red card. But a VAR, there'd have been most probably 2 instances in that would have changed my decision on from a yellow card, from nothing to a red card on two occasions where I've missed, no fault of my own. It was just that players running my way, and I was blinded from seeing certain incidents. No, most probably three actually. There was three. There was one at Norwich West Brom in the Premier League where the centre forward to the Norwich centre forward had got an elbow, right, deliberate elbow, which I was blindside. I would never seen it. That VAR definitely been a red card. Challenge at Wigan. It was Wigan Newcastle, a really poor challenge in that game where the player had run straight in front of me, and I didn't see it. No one reacted. The game just went on. It wasn't until after the game or the half time you saw it, you think, oh, what a terrible challenge. It was McManaman on Hilera, I think, of Newcastle, and when I saw it, I thought, oh, that was a double red. So, and I think the other one was Fellaini and Shawcross, Stoke versus Everton, where Fellaini's gone and done a corner's come over. Obviously, again, so many players, you can't see everything. And he's done Shawcross in the box. I remember Ryan running up to me and said, Mark, he's done me. I said, listen, look, I've not seen it, Ryan. I said, if there's anything, it'd be picked up and it'd be retrospective action. And it was. And it was. Fellaini got done on that. It was a really good game. The game went really well. It was a tough game, but if I look back at that, there's three decisions there that red card would have been. It would have been my decision. I would have gone to the video and said, "Yeah, red card." And the only other one where I thought myself, I wasn't a Premier League referee was I've been refereeing abroad, and I come back, I felt really awful, and I refereed. I shouldn't have done. Was Fulham Arsenal. I had a poor game that day. Poor game.
You got me for a minute. I've wondered how you become on first name terms with some players, and
Well, because you're refereeing them all the time. You're a Premier League referee, and you're in the domain week in, week out. So you do come on first name terms with them. I try to learn, even when I refereed in the Championship or League One or League Two. You get the team sheet. I try and learn. I try and remember the players' names, or try to pick it up as on the pitch when you're going along. But obviously in the Premier League, you know who the players are. You're officiating them week in, week out.
Yeah.
And for me, there's nothing wrong with that. They used to call me Mark, and I used to call them by their name.
No, I didn't mean there's anything wrong with it. It just seems as if if you was refereeing, saying QPR, and Stan's got the ball and gone through, you'd say to Stan, I love it, Stan, But
listen, as I say, I was a football fan, and I used to give players stick. They used to have a go at me, and I used to have a go back. But sometimes you just look there and you admire. I remember refereeing Newcastle Everton when Alan Shearer scored that wonder goal from 25 yards.
Yeah.
And I was right behind him. And as soon as he left his boot, I went, that's a goal, Alan. That's in. I just knew. I said, that's in, Alan. And it went straight into the top corner.
Yeah, but you didn't have to start applauding.
Oh, I shook his hand.
So, Mark, give us an idea. Who were the best players and who were the worst players that you?
Listen, there's so many. There's so many. I used to love. Listen, I love refereeing. I love refereeing the players. There's so many players: Henry and Bergkamp and Patrick Vieira. Stephen Gerrard. Alan Shearer, Roy Keane and Scholesy. I always used to get on well with them too. I always used to say, "Hey, behave yourselves, you two. I'm watching you." Because you know what they were.
Well, that's how the game should be. That's the way you should.
I said it in shop floor lounge. I can't say it on here, obviously. But I used to listen. I used to use shop floor language all the time. That got players on my side. I remember with the Fellaini incident. 3 weeks later, I had him again at Old Trafford, and it was getting ready for kickoff, and he was on the day, and I went up to him and I went, "Hey, you let me down on Stoke." I said I will be watching you like a hawk today. And one of the Everton players come over. He said, "You can't be saying that." I said, "You know what? I can say what I bloody well want. So you can get lost as well. And I'll be watching you like a hawk." And he was as good as gold. As good as gold. Good
See,
as
that's
gold.
the old copper coming out in you. You see.
That's it. Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah.
And were there any players? Tried really hard. And
Some of the best. I mean, there were some great players. I mean, it's just too. I mean, it's just so many. I mean, but the ultimate player for me, refereeing, was Zinedine Zidane. When I refereed Zinedine Zidane, playing for France. Oh, what a player! It's a bit like you, Alan. He just had so much time on the ball. You know, he didn't have the fitness like some players, but he just had so much time. Unbelievable. What a player. What a player.
Yeah. He had the technique. He had
everything.
The build, didn't he, to hold people off? And,
yeah.
I must ask you, do you ever come across Jack Taylor?
No, I did when he was alive many years ago.
Yeah.
But again, I remember one of my first ever World Cup fight I watched was I remember my mum for that game. We had a brand new telly, and it was a colour telly, and that was the game I watched, Holland Germany in that World Cup final.
Yeah, that made him pretty famous. I fell out with him a lot of times.
Yeah, because he gave a penalty early on, didn't he? If I remember. Yeah,
the Cruyff one. But he was a butcher from Wolverhampton.
He was a good referee in his day.
I used to see him at Wolverhampton races on a Monday when I played for Stoke, and I used to give him so much stick.
Big Wolves fan, wasn't he?
Well,
did you ever play against my good friend Sam Allardyce?
I did, yeah. I remember last time I played against Sam was they come down here. Tony would be at the game, I would think. We played them in the League Cup. And they drew 1-0 at the bridge. How they got a draw was ridiculous. And we went up to Bolton, and Sam played, and we beat them 6-0 up in Bolton.
6-0. Oh, I always remember the goal that Frank Worthington scored. You know, we flicked it over his head and volleyed it in. Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. The great Frank Worthington. Yeah. He wouldn't have had a problem with Frank.
No.
Well, you'd have had to say to him, do I call you, if you booked him, you'd have to say, do I call you Frank or do I call you Elvis? What do I do?
Yes, yeah.
That was it.
Elvis is leaving the building.
Yeah.
Well, what about your relationship with the managers, Mark? I mean, again, you must have formed good bonds with some and some that you maybe couldn't.
No, listen, I mean... Yeah, I got on well with all the managers. We had our moments. And I used to what went on in my dressing room stayed in my dressing room. It never got out of the dressing room. I mean, I've had confrontations. I remember nearly coming to blows with Ashley Cole when Chelsea were playing at Birmingham in the Premier League, and I'd just come back from illness, battling cancer, and we had a set to because at St Andrews, and Alan remembers the changing rooms. You walk down into the corner, you turn left, and the home team's right there, and the away team right down the other end, right next to the referee's dressing room. And we fell out on the pitch, and we were going hammer and tongs at each other, all the way down that corridor. And we come head to head, and but it stayed in that dressing room. My assistants had to pull me off, and because I was really a bit peeved off the way he'd spoken to me or the way he treated me. And but anyway, we got back out second half and we kissed and made up. We were okay in second half. But it goes on. It's football, isn't it? It's football. We're human, they're human, and we have to understand that. So I remember sending John Terry off at the Etihad, and obviously he come in the dressing room. We had a good 15-20 minutes in the dressing room. Wanting to know why I'd sent him off. And gave him my reasons. We agreed to disagree. So yeah, I had my moments with managers. I remember Mike O'Neill and John Robinson when they were at Villa. I was refereeing at Man City, and I awarded a penalty against Villa. Their goalkeeper come out and clattered into the City player, and it was just before half time, and I just knew that they'd be waiting for me in the tunnel at the Etihad, walking down, and there they were waiting for me. And they had a right go at me. I can't repeat what they were calling me, and I said a few choice words back to them. And about 5 minutes later, I was in the dressing room. There was a knock at the door, and I thought, "Oh, who's this?" And it was, I said, come in. It was John Robinson said, come in. I went, sorry, John, you shouldn't be here. He said, no, listen, Mark, I just want to apologise because we've just seen it and it's a definite penalty. So please accept our apologies. And I thought, you know what? Fair dues. Yeah, fair dues. So they was good as gold. But yeah, listen, I've had confrontations with managers in the dressing room, and what goes on in there stays in there.
That's good enough. Good enough, mate.
You mentioned just now your spell when you were ill and you were suffering with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, of course. That must have been a very emotional match when you came back after the time away. Yeah,
it was. I remember. I mean, it was tough. It was tough because obviously a tough year for family, because obviously my wife had been diagnosed with leukemia, but just before me, and so it was very, very tough for us. I remember coming back and doing a few games. I felt I had to come back because obviously there was a lot of pressure on me from within. About, because I've never had a referee that's had cancer and come back from it. And I always remember doing a sort of a couple of reserve games. It was tough. I thought to myself, I've come back too early. But I felt I had to get back. Otherwise, I was going to most probably be sort of pensioned off. Do you know what I mean? I always remember my first game back. It was it was at Rotherham. I can't remember if it was Rotherham versus I'm not sure if it was Port Vale or Notts County, but it was one of them. But it's definitely at Rotherham. And I always remember Ronnie Moore leaving me a letter in my dressing room. So, really touching letter. And I understand. I think he's struggling a bit now, isn't he? With and so you never get things like that. And then obviously my first Premier League game back in the game obviously was Wigan Blackpool. It was very emotional, very, very emotional. But before that, I refereed a pre-season friendly at Goodison Park, Everton versus Everton Chile, because that's the season before. That's where I thought I'd done my last game. So I've been diagnosed on the Thursday, and I was going into hospital on the Monday to have the tumour removed. But I refereed on the Saturday. I shouldn't have done. I don't know how I got through it, but I did. And then obviously I was straight into the hospital. I had the tumour removed, and luckily for me, I survived. One of the lucky ones.
Done. So more importantly, you're good now, yeah? No.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, touch wood. Some people most probably think I'm not, but
you're living a life, and people don't know, as you're telling us, you're sitting in sunny Spain.
Yeah, sunny Spain. When I finish with you, I'm going to jump in the pool because I'm absolutely baking.
How long have you been living in Spain, Mark?
When I retired in 2014, we came out to Spain because I always had a place out here. So I sort of saved me money wisely and brought a property out here.
And of course, you're still playing in goal. I know you've stopped in the last couple of years, but you've been playing regularly still.
Yeah, I did play regularly. Yeah, in football out here, and then obviously I've done my shoulder, and then I've become a manager. So I've done a full circle. I was a player, referee, and now I'm a manager of a Veteriano's team. So if you want to go on Facebook and follow us, Oliver Costa Veterianos, you'll see us on Facebook.
You mentioned
I picked up one yellow card last season.
You mentioned walked-in football. You don't do walk-in football.
No, I can't. No, I can't. That's awful. Can't get into that.
I know.
I can't get into that. I've been asked to referee it. I can't get involved. You can't tackle. You can't run. You can't tackle from the side, front, from behind, and
can't send no one off.
Yeah, no. I mean, we had one game where obviously my daughter, she's fluent Spanish, so she's our liaison. She went into the referee's room. She got a 3-game ban. So for having a go at the referee, so I had to calm her down. I keep trying to get my daughter into refereeing because she'd be good, but she's not interested.
No.
Not interested.
No. The family all QPR fans?
No, joking. My daughter, she's a bloody Man United fan. I'm not happy. Don't know why. Keep trying to get her to be a QPR fan, but she's not interested. Not interested at all.
But then, this year,
United have been rubbish, haven't they? So,
what are your hopes for Rangers this year?
We're looking at watching us watching us on Saturday, we need a centre forward. We need to spend some money, but I think we'll do well to stay in the Championship.
Yeah.
If we stay in the Championship, that's for me. That's a successful season. God, can get it out. Yeah, successful season.
Yeah,
if we can stay in the Championship.
Difference between the game now and the difference between the game when we played is everywhere you go now, they say what you say. We need a centre forward. When they were, when we played, they were all great. There was so many great centre forwards around.
Oh, absolutely.
For English, Irish, Scottish, Welsh.
Yeah.
Big Ron Davis.
Back in the day, you used to get really good players out of non-league football.
Yeah.
But you don't see that anymore, do you? You don't see that. Like the only one you see is, obviously Jamie Vardy, where he came from, and obviously went on to win the Premier League. But they just don't seem to got the time to nurture these guys through. And the same with the academies. We don't seem to see too many academy players coming through the system anymore, do we? They just rather than go and spend 15, 20 million on ready-made players.
That's a problem, yeah. That is a problem. The big problem. Yeah. Do you watch Spanish football? You go from where you are?
Yeah, I'll take my daughter. We've been up to Madrid a few times. Gone up there and watched a couple of games. Elche's just a half hour away from us. They've just been promoted into the Liga. We went to watch them a few times last year. It's only €25 to go and watch them. It won't be that cheap this season, though.
You got your referees pass, you show them on the door.
Oh, no, I still referee a bit out here. I went on the league, our league that we play in. They asked me to referee the inter-league games, so I normally do that. They like it when I referee because I don't really get my card out.
Well, you certainly look as if you're leading a happy existence in Spain, Mark. We really appreciate you coming on today. Any more questions you got for Mark, Al, before we?
No, it's been great. I think he's covered most of he's educated me. I always blame the FA. But I blame them for everything.
You can blame the FA when they don't overturn a red card for Chelsea.
Well, the FA. They do the most ridiculous things. I often wonder. I'd love to be a fly on the wall when I had some of their meetings.
Me too. I'd like that as well. I'd like to know that why I never ever got the FA Cup final. But there you go, because I wasn't a yes man. That's why the FA Cup final.
There you are. That's a good note to finish on. Well, it'd have been a better note if you had got the FA Cup final.
Yeah. Listen. The thing that pleased me the most is I had to, people thought I was a good referee, and that's what mattered to me most than anything like cup finals or whatever.
Well, you must be good because you're the only one we've ever had on the show.
I'm the only one that said yes, most probably.
No, absolutely not.
No. Yeah, you must have had my good buddy Keith Hackett referee you a few times.
I don't know. I never really took too much notice of referees.
Not like I do today.
Mark,
yeah.
Have you ever seen Alan's goal against Ipswich in 1971? It's on YouTube.
If it was most probably if it was on the big match. Remember Brian Moore, the big match? What a football program that was.
It wasn't a goal. It was a shot from 20 yards, hit the stanchion, the outside stanchion.
The goal was,
and the goal was given.
And I bet you went off celebrating, didn't you?
Well, we was on £30 a pint, Mark, at a time.
I bet you never thought going up to the referee and say it didn't go in.
Well, I wouldn't do that because
a goal bonus.
Apart from the bonus, I scored a couple of goals against Manchester United the year before I come that season, and they were both disallowed, and they were both perfectly good in my eyes.
Oh, so yeah.
I scored one at Old Trafford. We were 2-0 up, but a few minutes ago with George and all them played. George and Dennis and Robbie.
All great players.
Yeah. And I scored one there. But we've had Alex Sepney on. He was in goal. He didn't.
He threw it in, didn't he?
No, wait, didn't he? Couldn't get near him, Mark. But they give Peter Houseman offside. He was in Manchester High Street, I think, shopping. Unbelievable. So there was some nightmares. Yeah. So when they give you one, you go, well, take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You've got to look it up on YouTube, though,
I'll
Mark.
have a look.
It's outrageous. It's outrageous. Chelsea Ipswich, 1971. I think.
But I remember talking. I remember I think we might have done it on the show when Mickey Shannon was on, and it was a year before I got in a team, I think, and Mickey scored a goal at the bridge, and he gave a goal kick, and it was kind of just by the right of the goalie, so near up in the middle of the goal, and he gave a goal kick. Well, the referees at that time and linesmen, you used to go round the back and make sure all the netting was in. Well, geezer forgot to go and put the netting in, so the ball's gone through the net straight through and ended up on the dog track.
That's why he didn't give a goal.
And the referee thinks it's gone past the post. They checked the netting and they went, "All right, we'll give you that one." That was when referees had to earn their corn, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well,
or linesmen think,
assistant, yeah.
Anyway, great having you on, mate.
Yeah, great pleasure. My pleasure.
I'll get your number and I'll give it to my Anthony.
Yeah, but Tony's got my number.
All right, mate. Great. And
I'll put my invoice in the post to you, Alan. Yeah.
Absolutely. Address unknown. Return to sender, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Address unknown. That's right.
Hey, great to have you on, mate.
And you enjoyed it. Take care.
Great, you're doing well, and keep going.
Yeah, all the best, guys.
Thanks.
We might see you again, yeah?
Yeah, no problem at all. No problem.
Lovely, mate. Good
all
luck.
the best, guys.
Go and
take care.
Enjoy the pool.
Don't remember. Hey, go yours.
See you, Mark.
All the best. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.